Welcome to Locked On Flames, and I'm your host, Jess Belmosto. Today's episode is brought to you by Rock Auto. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have plenty to talk about as the first big shoe drops as camps open tomorrow, and we've got plenty more to talk about here on Locked On Flames.
You're Locked On Flames, your daily podcast on the Calgary Flames. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everyone, or welcome to Locked On Flames. I'm your host, Jess Belmosto, and we're back. Camps open up tomorrow, and Sean Monahan will be ready to go. We have so much to talk about today, and I'm so happy that you have decided to join me. But first, we do have to talk about something that's a little bit bigger and a little bit more important than the Calgary Flames. I know, there's something bigger than the Calgary Flames. I'm sorry. Kirill Kaprizov has re-signed with the Minnesota Wild, and this was 6 whole months of contract negotiations, okay? So for those of you who think it just happens like, those short 3 months in the offseason and, it happens here, it happens there, phone calls happen, emails are sent, it's casual. 6 months is a very long time, and I just have to give it to Bill Guerin for negotiating this contract down to $9 million, and that's a pretty penny. That is very much a pretty penny, and personally, I don't think that 1 year, one solid year in the NHL is worth $9 million, but again, who am I to make these decisions? I think that this is fantastic for the Minnesota Wild. They finally have something to build around. They finally have something that really makes them a contender and potentially gives them that edge to, finally not just be that wild card team. They could actually be a top 3 team in their division. And I was looking at the Central Division earlier today for research, or I was doing something. I forget exactly what it was for, but I was looking at it and I texted my good pal Nick and I said, other than the Avalanche, what does the Central Division have going for them? And he said, well, nothing. Minnesota has an asterisk next to it unless they re-signed Kirill, and they did. And oh my goodness, they're going to be in cap hell. Okay. They are going to be in cap hell. I hate to say it, but kind of all know that it's true. And between the buyouts that they had, committed to earlier this offseason and now $9 million. But we do have to remember that $9 million over the next 5 years, that's kind of like what it's projected to be. It's a $45 million contract, okay? But because of how payroll for the NHL works and how escrow happens and all these things because of COVID, it is a little bit wonky. I don't know the figures, like the exact figures, but I'm sure it'll be on Cap Friendly, or one of our trusted sources will tweet it out, but the exact contract breakdown. But years 4 and 5 have a no trade clause, and I don't think you're going to be able to trade a contract like that regardless. So, we'll just have to see. The Western Conference definitely just got a little bit tougher, and I don't think that this is going to be a one-off talented year for Kaprizov by any means. I think that he's a very talented player, and this is something that Minnesota fans should be looking forward to. This is huge, and I am so excited to really get to watch them play, watch this team finally be competitors. It'll be something, that's for sure. But coming up next, we are going to talk about what this means for the Flames. And I know you're probably wondering, how does this contract with this 24-year-old Calder Trophy winner. What does that have to do with the Flames? Well, don't worry, because I've got you covered. But first, let me talk to you about Rock Auto. We talk about Rock Auto all the time on this show. And if you listen to other shows on the network, then you know how much Rock Auto is appreciated here. And I actually was able to refer a friend to Rock Auto because she was having issues with her battery and other parts. Her blinkers, her headlights were going. So I said, hey, instead of going to Sam's Club up the road, place an order on rockauto.com and tell them that Locked On sent you. And she's like, what? And I pulled it up on our phone at work and I said, boop, 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 and got her what she needed. And, it's great to support a family business. It's great to help a friend when they're in need. And Rock Auto is there for you when you're in need. So head on over to rockauto.com today and use their How Did You Hear About Us box to let them know that Locked On sent you. And DirecTV, they're here for you too, because you know what? We are very grateful for sponsors who are here to make our lives a little less chaotic. And that is exactly what DirecTV Stream does. DirecTV Stream is going to help you get rid of that clutter and confusion and get your TV together. You're not going to need a million different devices, a million different logins, passwords, and you're not going to have that awkward conversation when you get into a fight with someone and say, hey, did you change the password to this? And then they never answer. You don't have to deal with that with DirecTV Stream. DirecTV Stream is there for you, and you can get it together, get all your TV needs right there on DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That's DIRECTV.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. Before I, told you all about those amazing companies, I did, kind of probably have you scratching your head, because what on earth could this contract in Minnesota mean for Matthew Tkachuk, Johnny Gaudreau, and even Andrew Mangiapane? In all honesty, Brad Treliving said that, conversations are ongoing with the Gaudreau extension, and we'll have to wait and see. It makes me anxious thinking about it. He doesn't seem like the kind of player who would chase money. Maybe I'm reading it all wrong, but I really don't think that he's the kind of guy who would just go somewhere because they're offering him more money. I think he plays hockey because he loves it. He is a hockey kid through and through. He's not I don't know. He's not after the money. He's not here to chase the bag. But I also understand if he does, because, if you're a talented hockey player, you're going to go and you're going to play for a contender, and more likely than not, that contender is going to pay you. So I think one of the biggest things that could help in this situation with Gaudreau is obviously keeping that top line together. We saw how well Lindholm, Gaudreau, and Tkachuk played together, and in all honesty, I really think that this is what the Flames need to help give them that extra boost. I think that it would put a little confidence under Gaudreau's belt. Do I think that, it could give him a little leverage in contract negotiations? Absolutely. As long as things go smooth, I really don't see why they wouldn't. But at the same time, I'm like, I say I'm anxious about it, but then at the same time, I'm like, oh, I'm not worried. But then I remember how I felt when we were all scrolling through the timeline, and everybody had just kind of accepted that Gaudreau was done in Calgary. But I'm going to sit here and doomsday prep. I think that's what I'm going to have to call it, because I really don't want to see Gaudreau and Tkachuk leave in the same offseason. That would be beyond detrimental to this team. And I don't think that many people have really thought about that. I mean, I haven't really until just now. I think that losing 2 star players in the same offseason is kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. So we'll have to, wait and see. But I do think if an extension gets done between Tkachuk and Johnny, it will be Johnny. And speaking of Tkachuk, I just, Kaprizov's salary or AAV is $9 million. Okay, so Tkachuk has a $9 million qualifying offer. So that's where if they extend that qualifying offer, what they do is obviously, that's what his price starts at. And if they don't extend that to him, he can hit the market and shop around, see what's out there for him. And Calgary and him can still negotiate figures, I think that $9 million is a lot for anyone. I mean, look at Toronto and how much money they have tied up in a first line. And, Elias Lindholm's making like $4.8 million, I think it is. And it's funny. It's just funny to me that he's making that while there are centers out there making like 9, 10, 11 million bucks. And I know he was just a young kid coming over from Carolina, but it's just ironic. It's just funny to me. But I mean this in the most respectful way. Matthew Tkachuk seems like the kind of player who is going where the money is, who is following that bag. Unless the Flames are going to be a truly competitive team this year, I don't see him saying, let me stay here for another 6 years and take a team-friendly deal. I don't see that. And that is not a knock to Tkachuk personally, to him as a player. You have to do what's best for you at the end of the day. I would leave a sucky job to go make more money elsewhere and contend. Maybe that job is like selling cars, and I can sell a lot more cars there and make a lot of money and be happy. So if he can go play somewhere where he can score a lot of goals, have success in the playoffs, compete for Stanley Cup, maybe that's what happens. I don't know. I would be interested to see if he takes a team-friendly deal. I don't know if anyone's asked him. I don't think that they would ask him. I don't know. It's so hard to really think about because you don't want to think about losing Tkachuk. You don't want to think about that. And he is an RFA if they extend that qualifying offer. But that is a fat qualifying offer. And I don't know what the cap space is going to look like. So we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. I don't necessarily have faith in the front office to get it done, but I also don't have faith in Tkachuk for staying. I think if either of them leave, it'll be Tkachuk. And again, now you're coming up on Mangiapane, who is having one heck of a start to his NHL career. And his contract also is up at the end of this season. And, he's making $275, I think, right now, or $225. But he's worth a lot more than that. And if he can have a repeat of last year, then his agent is going to make sure that he is seeing those dollar signs and he is cashing in on all of them. Do I want him to stay with the Flames? Of course. I think that he really he's a great fit here. He is somebody he's a great personality. I mean, we've seen a little bit from Media Day, and I am hopeful. I don't want to say like, oh yeah, like I think they like part ways. I don't think that they part ways. I don't. I am under the impression that he will be resigning, and that contract extension gets done. Do I see him as a player who takes a team-friendly deal or a little bit less? Yeah, of course I do. I think that we've seen that with quite a few players recently. And again, this probably just sounds like I am raging or ragging on Matthew Tkachuk, but I promise I'm not. I see him as a kind of player who is here to get his bag, wherever that may be. But I think that Mangiapane is still young. I think that he is willing to, stay here for another few years and try it out. He's going to try it out. So, we're going to have to wait and see what happens. I think that there's a lot to look forward to. And I think as camp opens, we're going to see more. I don't know. You know what? For all we know, a contract could have already gotten done for Gaudreau. And Tree Living is just lying. And they're going to announce it once camp opens tomorrow. Okay? I don't know. Listen, I am just shooting off ideas here. I am just remaining hopeful. But again, that's all you can do. You can remain. It's not very fun being a negative hockey fan and a negative hockey commentator, because yes, you can point out the negatives, but trying to still see the positive through those negatives is a lot more fun. And that's how you have to look at it with the Flames, because there is a lot of mediocrity here. And especially the offseason, I really don't know what was going on. And you just you have to take it all with a grain of salt and just kind of get over it. Or you have to just kind of set your mind up for keep your expectations low. And that's why when I talk about these contract negotiations and contract extensions, I'm not sitting here saying guys, it's gonna happen, Tkachuk and Gaudreau are gonna sign, they're gonna do they're gonna sign on the same day, and they're gonna have this photo shoot, it's gonna be so cool, so classy, so no, because if I have these high expectations, I will remain disappointed. But if I keep the bar low, we can just, kind of just keep things neutral and get things going. So coming up next, we're going to talk about some injuries and some updates on injuries, as well as some good news. But first, let's talk about Built Bar. You guys know that I do love my Built Bars. Got word that we are getting a new package of Built Bars for this month, and they are going to be including a new flavor, and I'm very excited. And this is it's called cookie dough crunch. Yeah, cookie dough crunch. And if there's one thing I can do, it's eat raw cookie dough. That's why I love the holidays and baking, because you can do that. You can live that experience with this protein bar and not have to worry about salmonella. You don't have to worry about your calories, your carbs, anything, because it's healthy for you. It's a great protein bar, great source of protein, great source of fiber, and you don't have to worry about those carbs, because there's only about 4 to 5 carbs per bar and 4 to 5 grams of sugar. So it's a great thing. You don't have to worry about it. So head on over to built.com today and sign up. Don't sign up. We're not signing up for anything. Head on over to built.com and, of course, use promo code LOCKED15 to earn 15% off of your next order of Built Bars. That is promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off of your next order at built.com. So, we kind of had that prospect Battle of Alberta thing going on at the Saddle Dome this weekend, and unfortunately, the Flames, they split the series, if you will. It was one win, one loss, and Connor Zary, unfortunately, left the game rather early on yesterday after blocking a shot, and it looked to be his left foot and ankle. That's got to be painful. I mean, I don't do well with pain. I can't imagine taking a a hockey puck going pretty fast at your foot and blocking it, that's bless y'all who can do that, because it's not for me. But good news is that he's day-to-day. You got to look at things with some optimism. It's not week to week. It's not indefinite. They offered us some sort of an update, and especially where it was as quick as it was, it doesn't lead me to believe it was a break. Could just be really bad bruising. And I think if it was a break, they would have announced it. They would have said, hey, Connor Zary to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured ankle, or whatever medical terms they wanted to use. That is just my opinion, okay? That's just my opinion. And Monahan will be ready for camp tomorrow. So they are really opening up camp strong. They have Sean Monahan, who has the potential to be a 30-goal scorer if he remains healthy. Gaudreau's back. Tkachuk's back. Blake Coleman's here. Zadorov's here. The gang's all here. And as of right now, they have not released a roster for training camp. I know that some teams have. They put it out on Twitter. The Bruins accidentally left off one of their defensemen, and then they had to delete the graphic and press release once people realized it. It's a little funny, honestly, because if you don't know, John Moore hasn't really played much in his time in Boston because of needing surgery or being scratched, needing more surgeries. So, I guess he's pretty forgettable. I kind of forgot he was on the team until someone said something, but I believe this is his last year in the contract. Hopefully, no one else, Calgary, I'm looking at you, decides to pick him up. But that's all I have for you today. We are back to 5 days a week. 5 days a week here at Locked On Flames, and gonna still be working on incorporating all this video stuff, and hopefully it's a little bit better than last time. But thank you all so much for tuning in. You can find me on Twitter at JessBelmosto. I'm pointing to it on YouTube. I've always wanted to do that. And you can find the show wherever you get your favorite podcasts. So Spotify, Apple, Odyssey, Amazon, Audible, anything, wherever you want. So again, thank you all so much. And I will catch y'all on Wednesday, and we will most definitely catch up on that training camp. Bye-bye.